up tonight. It may not fill up tomorrow. So, Domingo, what happens if you're one of these campaigns who's looking for finality?
You got to keep campaigning. You don't know if you're in it or out, so you have to be in it until there's a final decision made. It's just sad that it's gone to the courts and not to the voters.
But I remember when Abby Livingston said a moment ago, this reminds me of 2000 down in Florida with the hanging chads, and they're trying to figure that out. I mean, everything shifted from the campaign trail straight to the courtroom in Florida there. Is this going to play out directly in the courts, or is there anything else that the campaigns can make a case to voters for, Vinny?
Well, certainly the lawyers are going to get involved, but I think at this point, and Matt brought it up earlier, both campaigns kind of need to go on the attack, which is much better for Crockett than Talladega.
And Crockett is speaking right now, the Congresswoman. Let's listen to what she has to say.
I'm sure you've been watching the returns, and none of the returns out of Dallas County are quite in yet. Dallas County should have the second largest voter participation of any county in this state. We don't have any of the results because there was a lot of confusion today. And so, our Democratic Party chair, Cardall Coleman, he beat me to the punch, as myself and Colin Allred. We're about to file a lawsuit to keep the voting polls open. We were able to keep the polls open, but I can tell you now that people have been disenfranchised. The reason that we knew that there were problems is because we were receiving the phone calls and the emails. The polls were supposed to stay open until 9, according to a court order. The Supreme Court, just a few minutes ago, just said, shut it down. The Supreme Court also said that they are to separate any votes out that came in after 7 p.m. So here's the deal. I have no idea how it is that clerks are going to know who was in line by what time, because the rule is that if you're in line by 7, then you get to vote. And so once there was a court order saying you had until 9, I'm sure that there were people that joined the line after 7. They now are telling them that you have to separate the votes out. What this means is that we will not know what votes are to be tallied from Election Day out of Dallas County. For sure, we won't know that tonight. So knowing that Dallas County is a big dump of votes, we, in my opinion, will not know the election results overall tonight. We need to see the Dallas County votes to see where they are. I mean, if the early vote comes in, which we may have the early vote soon, if it comes in and I'm losing Dallas County, then we know kind of where this thing is going. So, so that's my news, is that we're not going to have election results tonight, in my opinion, based upon what specifically is taking place in Dallas County. Unfortunately, this is what Republicans like to do. And so they specifically targeted Dallas County, and I think we all know why. So I want you to enjoy yourselves, but I won't be back tonight because I have no idea of when we're going to get results, and I fully anticipate it won't be until tomorrow. So I love y'all too. Thank you so very much for being here.
All right, that's Congresswoman Crockett, and she's essentially saying she's not expecting to see final votes tonight, which is not a surprise to anybody who's been watching this with us over the last half hour or hour or so. Matt, takeaway from this? I mean, I don't remember precedent for this situation we're in right now.
I don't think there is a precedent for stopping the vote. I mean, we've had many times when you've had polls that are extended hours and more votes have been cast, but I've never seen a circumstance in which they then say it doesn't matter who was in line at 7 o'clock, whatever was cast after 7 o'clock doesn't count. Never seen that before. Again, whether you're a Tallarico fan or a Crockett fan, or whether you're, this is just wrong. This is vote suppression, and the fact that this is going to have to be settled in the court is just bad for democracy.
But getting back to the precedent on this, we've been waiting for an hour or so here to have some direction on where to go. And if you don't have Dallas County, it's not just the Senate race, but it's also likely the
congressional race.
Congressional
That's
District 33.
where this is going to make a big difference. First of all, James Tallarico looks like he's going to win, but Jasmine Crockett and her followers are going to be furious. And Nathan Johnson looks like he might be winning without a runoff, but we won't know. That looks like he's way ahead in that race, but where it's close and where it's going to make a difference is that Colin Allred, Julie Johnson congressional race. And if those votes, if we throw out the last 2 hours of those votes without knowing exactly which votes to throw out between 7:10 and 7:20, who's going to decide that? Is a judge going to sit there and say, okay, this was clocked in at 7:05, this person was in line, this was at 7:20, this person must not have been in line? I just don't understand how that's going to be carried out by the court.
Here's an example of what we've been waiting on. It's 9:18. Look at this, District 30, Congressional District 30, 1% reporting, 1% reporting. So that's how slow things are tonight, and how much Dallas County is holding things up. Let's go over to the big board with Jason Wheeler here as we wait on Senator Cornyn to come out and address reporters, and Colin Allred at the African American Museum in Dallas. He too is going to address reporters in a moment here, but you're starting to see some numbers come in.
Yeah, I've been
Dallas
shaking
County.
this touch screen. It's not the touch screen's fault. It's the data that's coming in. It's very slow from Dallas, but we do have a little bit of it now populating. So let's look at the Senate seat, the Senate race rather, on the Democratic side. First numbers we've seen from Dallas County tonight, Jasmine Crockett, not surprisingly, again, this is where she represents right now, with almost 61% of this vote dump that just came out. Total votes, 192,000 or so of them coming out of Dallas County right now. The Associated Press estimates that that's about 61% of that estimated vote in the county there. So a good chunk of it, but not as much as we would like to see for sure. And Matt, where did you think she should be in Dallas County?
But at about 40, 60, she's where she needs to be for
Okay, so
Dallas
she's
County.
where she needs to be in Dallas County. Here's the frustrating part. As we go down through the other races, even though the Senate race has dropped from Dallas County, we're not seeing anything in the Attorney General race on the Democratic side, or Comptroller, or certainly not down here when we get to District 30, which was Jasmine Crockett's district. We're not seeing anything in Dallas County on that one. And of course, the big one that we've been watching tonight as well, Congressional District 33 with Colin Allred and Julie Johnson. No results reported there yet. Although, maybe give it a couple of minutes here. This just popped in for the Senate race. I don't know if I've seen this before, where you get one race of early vote dropped in a county, and it takes a long time for the other races to fill in too. Usually it kind of all just arrives, or at least in waves and closer to each other.
Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss for words right now, because I'm not sure kind of where this goes next. I mean, these campaigns have to continue on.
Yeah.
It's going to be played out in the courts, and everything else is still in limbo. These results are in limbo. No one's going to know for a while.
Plus, you heard too, and I always go back to the voter here. You heard the reaction there when Jasmine Crockett was just speaking to her supporters tonight, and she said, they're wanting those votes that happened from 7 to 9 to be pulled out. And that was the biggest reaction that she got from that crowd, where you just heard a lot of ohs and ahs. And you wonder the effect that has on voters in this race. Do some people who wonder if their vote was actually counted, do they just go, I'm out of this process? Like I'm not even going to show up in November.
And Tiffany Liu was in North Dallas at a voting precinct there, talking to Mr. Vasquez, and he said that the polls closed there at 7 o'clock, despite what the court order said to stay open till
Right.
9. So it seems like this is all over the map,
Well-
and it's clearly going to impact all of those blue races over there.
And we should point out, you know, Dallas is getting all the attention. Dallas County is getting all the attention, but there was that other county as well, and that's Williamson County, where the two parties did not have the joint primaries, and we don't see any numbers out of Williamson County as well. That could be good territory for James Tallarico. It's just outside where he represents right now as a state representative in Travis County. So, you know, Dallas has gotten all the negative attention
Sure.
tonight, but Williamson County hasn't released one thing yet.